Guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Got the Lando show on deck here. 41-21, dominating victory on Monday Night Football. Yo, we got the birds up out of there, man. We got the birds up out of there.
Get
Our
them out
home
of here.
opener.
Get them
out of here.
Off my TV screen with that trash. The sorry birds, man. Good old-fashioned D-Town beatdown. That's what I'm dubbing it. I'm dubbing it the D-Town beatdown on Monday Night Football. That's what just happened right there. That was a statement.
That was a statement. That was a statement to the Philadelphia Eagles. That was a statement to Nick Sirianni in this Beat Dallas T-shirt. That was a statement to the entire NFC East.
Poor fella.
You know, return of Dak Prescott on his home field, and we're gonna jump into this. Is our our immediate emotional fan reaction right now that we're doing. But as we jump into it, make sure you guys give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, BUSR, the official sportsbook, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective, busr.com/fanatic. Take advantage. We still have a few more days left on the NFL 100 FP promo, 100% free play. Congratulations, Joe Silva, who won the contest this week. I made some money tonight betting on the Cowboys to cover. I think it was like -3.5. Thank you, Vegas.
Yes, sir.
So shout out to BUSR and everybody that made money tonight betting on them boys, Landon. Lando show was good, man. What's good? How you feeling, man? We couldn't ask for a better weekend.
That's what I'm saying. What did we do? What did you and I do? Our two teams, as you see in the background here, to deserve finally, man, a stress-free, everybody relax, RELAX, and win in convincing fashion, man. That was fun. No, that's I can't say it enough. That was just exciting smash mouth football, man. There was no answer. Just 7 yards per clip. It felt like from Zeke and Tony from the jump. And the thing that to me is it's
opening drive.
The opening drive and the opening drive. It was one of the first plays. I don't know if you saw. They showed the replay and zoomed in on it a little bit too. But they had Connor McGovern in the backfield as the H-back kind of motion.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke followed him. He hit the hole, and that set the tone. It was like Kellen Moore making a statement saying, "Hey, we're ready to go, man. We're here to play North and South," and it was clinical. It was clinical.
And this is something that we've now seen in the first 3 weeks of the season is the preparation and the level of detail to attack the opponent. Traditionally, and this is something the Eagles have done for years, they've always, at least in my adulthood, going back to the late Jim Johnson, they've always been a fantastic pass rushing football team and a scary pass rushing football team. And when you have people like, Fletcher Cox and Barnett and all these guys, they typically have always played. And it's funny they had Chris Long on there too, because
I was going to say the feature on the Manning show.
Yeah, on the Mannings. They've always played with those wide splits and that wide nine and all these type of things.
Yep.
And the Cowboys, Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott, common sense play calling, attacking it straight downhill, using your size, we have relatively healthy. I know Leo Collins isn't there, but like you said, utilizing Connor McGovern, different guys, different looks, but still getting into that run. Even when we would spread out, we would go to our draw plays, still working our backs in there because that was the way to attack that particular front. Well done by Kellen Moore. Masterclass, in my opinion.
Masterclass. I said on Twitter, give him the keys to the city. He's going to be a head coach very soon. And I think you and I both agree there. And I don't really know how anybody watching the last 3 weeks couldn't disagree. We talked about the willingness to adapt. And we've come, honestly, a long way. It's no shot at Jason Garrett, but we said off air, the do your job mentality of sometimes just kind of being stubborn about your approach to offensive football. And Kellen Moore is just showing the willingness to change his attack and come at you in not only a variety of ways, but a different way each week, depending on what the matchup dictates. And just so I love that modernized way of thinking. And I love what we're seeing so far from Kellen Moore. So just, round of applause to him for finding ways to get everybody involved, different like creative little nuances that we're seeing, like the Connor McGovern thing in the backfield, and different tight end screens, Dak faking to one side of the field and dumping it to Dalton Schultz. And, he's got a full head of steam behind two pulling linemen. It's like lots of creative twists that we're seeing. And it's
Couldn't agree more.
it's
The
great, man.
Cowboys tonight were 6 of 12 on third down. I thought, just finishing the point on Kellen Moore, because I do think you can't hit on that enough in terms of, Jerry Jones and the organization deserves credit of sticking with him.
Yeah.
I was in favor of the move when they made it. And I know that was a very
Me too.
controversial thing at the time. But I remember saying, like, if you're going to do this, you got to allow him to develop as a play caller. Like, and I think we wanted to be in the business of like, hey, if we could do the whole Sean Payton thing after Bill Parcells left over again, we would have, right? And like, obviously knowing what the outcome became and how he developed as a coach in the league, Kellen Moore, whether he deserved the opportunity or not at that time, if you feel that highly about somebody and they're look at the Sean McVays and all the young coaches and the LaFleur brothers,
Shanahan.
Kellen Moore can be there if given that opportunity. We gave him the opportunity, and now we're starting to see the returns on that. A lot of people may ask, hey, why didn't we necessarily look like this last year? Last year was a very weird year. I had an opportunity when I was driving home to listen to the Mike McCarthy press conference. And I think one of the things he hit on last year was, hey, we were not only were we in a lot of track meets, but we were still finding our way as a staff because Kellen Moore coming from that Scott Linehan, Jason Garrett, but also having that relationship with Dak and kind of marrying up with Mark McCarthy, who I'm sure he feels some type of way about his own offensive mind and what he wants to do. But guys, this year now, and I think one of the reasons why the Cowboys are much more efficient on offense is because they've had time in the offseason. It's a 3-tier brain trust.
That's the
right?
key.
You have Dak in there, Kellen Moore, and Mike McCarthy. That brain trust and that collaboration, because the command moving to the quarterback, because we talked about the backs are phenomenal, and all this. Oh, Zeke and Tony Pollard.
I'm sick of that.
You want a 1-2 punch. I want one. I need two backs anyway. So I like the distribution, and they both give you things that the other one, they make up for each and other. The only reason why we have this conversation is because of salary. But we'll get into that. The quarterback thing, though, and the Mannings were hitting on this as well. The overall command of the offense, because that's the third person who's a part of the brain trust.
Yep.
And that comes with, hey, we got to check to this. That's why the Cowboys are much, much better, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing on third down, is Dak Prescott's command of the offense.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's true. Like, I don't think you can dispute that. But so I wanted to credit too the broadcast, even on the ESPN telecast, that is, they pointed it out, and just understanding the importance of continuity offensively, and for your quarterback to feel comfortable within his offensive system. That's clearly happening now, as you said, a result of reps and time to get everybody on the same page with the full, OTAs, rookie mini camp, training camp, and then obviously preseason games that we didn't also have last year either. So just an extra year with everybody working together, keeping the same system in place. And Matthew Stafford, you may have caught this on the ESPN2 telecast. I catch myself kind of like flipping back and forth. I love the analysis that two Hall of Fame quarterbacks can provide, as much as it hates me to say that about Eli. That is, I think he's in. But you get great analysis there. But I like just having a wider screen, wider picture, and not having two faces covering up, a third of my TV or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm with you.
Yeah. So anyways, flipping back and forth, I caught Matthew Stafford. He made a great point. He was saying, it's not so much about mastering a new system, a new playbook. He said it's forgetting the old ones that is the most difficult part about that. So I just thought that was an interesting nugget. And Peyton kind of doubled down, and you could tell Peyton almost like said the words, took the words right out of Stafford's mouth before he was saying it. He was kind of agreeing. So yeah, man, just the continuity is special, and it's pretty evident at how comfortable everybody is right now, offensively. That is.
So offensively, I mean, in when we do a deep dive, because we're going to continue this conversation throughout the week as we drum up more Cowboys content between the two of us. So we'll get into more good, bad, ugly, and what to think about for Carolina. But I do want to move over because that's going to include the offensive line as well, right?
Yep. I'm gonna get that all 22, man. My wife may hate me for it, spending $100, but I think it's got to happen. I want to know. I want to know more. I want to be able to tell people more. It's like I'm itching. I'm dying to figure it out. And they finally brought that back to NFL Game Pass. So
I do want to move over to the defense because the offense has been the sexy thing to talk about in Dallas for so long, and we've always looked at the defense as that kid that's struggling with their grades in school and all that. Look, sexy has come to the defense. It's come in the form of Trayvon Diggs. It's come in the form of Micah Parsons, Osa Iguduza, like all these new faces that we have. It's come in the form of Dan Quinn.
Right.
Like, it is a new day in Dallas defensively, and I can't give those guys enough credit for the splash plays they're making, Landon. I know because that's what the NFL's kind of become.
They're bringing like the swag. I messaged you about that. Like I asked you straight up.
Oh yeah, on Twitter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time you've seen that? And nobody. I'm not that old. I mean, I'm 27. So in my life, when I was old enough to process information and formulate my own opinions, I've never seen a team with as much moxie as the Cowboys are showing me right now on the defensive side of the ball. And it starts with one guy. It's Trey Diggs. He's special, man. I think it's rapidly. And you can't even say enough about just all the young talent. You mentioned Dan Quinn, obviously at the forefront of it all. I think he's a master motivator, and I think I'm trying not to get ahead of myself here when I say things like this, but when I'm watching stuff like Hard Knocks, I see the way that Dan Quinn is communicating from the booth to his number 1 overall pick, Micah Parsons. It's like you can just tell he's got a way about him. He's the ability to teach and just kind of inspire. Like I'm seeing dudes flying around for 4 straight quarters, even Micah included. And it's a 20-point game with 3 minutes left, and he's in there getting after the quarterback. So it's a different mentality, and guys are flying around, and it's fun to watch. And a lot of that production is first and second year players.
Mentality matters. The same thing with Osa up front, and how he handles the run and pass. But going to Micah Parsons, he gets that sack, and they blow up Jalen Hurts. I think it was a change of possession because I think that was a 4th and 9 or whatever.
They swallowed him up. Yeah,
right. You see him on the sideline. We scored. I think that was when we came back and scored the touchdown to Dalton Schultz on a boot or whatever. Did you see how pissed Micah Parsons still looked on the sideline? Like he's just like he has that general pissed off linebacker look.
He does
that you want, and like I said this in the offseason. Or when we were talking about Micah Parsons, and I think it was in reference to Hard Knocks. Okay. And I said I predicted he would, kind of cause healthy conflict with guys because he's a violent person. That's
the assertiveness,
the assertiveness. And when I say I'm talking about on the football field, of course,
yeah.
But Micah, he's like, yo, y'all been trash, y'all been soft. I was hired to come here and give y'all this edge.
Yep.
And he's literally giving us an edge. I haven't had this much fun watching somebody just fly around, but he's flying around under control. Dude. He's not overrunning plays, right? Because I've seen guys come in that look like lightning, and they're running
too fast for their own good sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His speed is a positive. I mean, when you're asked to just jump over and play another position, specifically as a rookie, and you're excelling in multiple areas,
He set the
I see
record
you
for
all over
pressures.
the place. It's fantastic to watch.
Yeah, yeah, man. So just to echo that sentiment a little bit there, like, do people really understand though that he's doing this? They're throwing Dan Quinn's throwing everything at him, right?
Mhm.
Lining him up all over the place. The ability to process information, play a brand new position. They're asking him to cover now. Like you talk to people that scouted him at Penn State. He didn't play last year, and we'll get to that in a second too. But he wasn't asked to cover at Penn State. And now we're just kind of seeing it. Like, he's just kind of doing it just because he can. He's so physically gifted that they're throwing everything at him and he's not having any issues. But that's what I want people to understand. Like, this dude didn't play football last year. He's not even hitting his stride yet. He's a rookie. So what does he look
Landon,
like 10 weeks from now?
Landon, best thing that happened to the Cowboys is that he didn't play football last year.
You think so?
Because if he plays football last year, he's not going at 11.
That's true. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. You're right. Like,
It's
I
a
didn't even think about
blessing
it
in
that way.
disguise.
Right. So, but even more so in our favor, though. He goes
Mhm.
12th overall. Instead, he falls to us in our lap. We add a third-round pick in the process from the team we just beat down, the Eagles. They tossed us what turned into Chauncey Golston, who we saw a little bit of tonight.
Right. Yeah, because we
Finally,
traded back. You're right. So he doesn't fall like 11 people don't go in front of him if he plays football in
yeah,
2020 because
it's a great point.
rightfully so, there was doubt even amongst Cowboys fans after JC Horn goes off the board. Get well soon, brother.
Yep.
PS2 goes off the board. It's like, oh, now there's this guy who the last time we saw him was an All-American and won the Buckus, but he hasn't played football. He's only really been a starter for one season
1 year.
because he was like that high value off the bench guy's freshman year. So what are we really getting with somebody who hasn't had the most reps in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And what that tells me is that he loves football. What
Loves
that
it.
tells me is that he's connected with Dan Quinn. They have a connection. They understand how to not only use him, but how to communicate in game. You mentioned it earlier,
That
his ability
communication.
to process information.
Yep.
And on top, and the biggest thing too, he's a generational athlete. He's an incredible athlete.
4.3 speed at 250.
And you
Come on
see
now.
the 4.3 speed.
He tracked
you see
down
the first step.
He tracked down Jalen Hurts tonight. It was a zone read concept. Jalen kept it to the boundary, so the shortest side of the field, and Jalen had about a step and a half, and you just see Micah charging, man, full head of steam, and he hunted him down before Jalen even got to the sideline. Like it's the speed, but it's the burst instantly, like the ability to get up and go. It doesn't take him any time. He can change direction, and he's gone. So it's just special. I mean,
they really neutralized just Jalen Hurts' running ability has been a great asset for the Eagles since he took over last season.
yeah.
And he has 9 carries, 35 yards. I'm fine with that. That's less than 4.
They had three
carries to the other 2
total
backs.
rushing carries to everybody else.
Miles Sanders had 2, and Gainwell had 1.
And
So I don't. Eagles fans, y'all gonna have to talk to me in the comments. I know some of y'all gonna be watching this video. You're gonna have to talk to me in the comments about that because that's not helping your quarterback out.
Doesn't help your quarterback at all.
I didn't like their game plan, just objectively speaking. I didn't understand. It seemed like, you're getting overwhelmed with some of the pressure, interior pressure too. And it seemed like Jalen Hurts had no plan other than to run for his life. And then we're funneling where he's running. That's the thing that I haven't seen from the Cowboys in a long, long time is dictating where you're, okay, fine, you want to roll out, run all over. Good luck trying to complete that ball. And then, you got Trayvon Diggs back there who's the mind and the body are working in tandem with each other. And he's made a decision that he's going to be not just a number 1 corner, but he's making his case for Pro Bowl, All Pro.
He's making a case for best Diggs in his family. That's what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Real rap. At least for this season, he has a way to go for the career.
Yeah, no, that's obviously
right. But for
in
this
the future,
season,
but man,
it's exciting. It's exciting. So, I mean, Cowboys fans out there, talk to us. 41-21 victory over the Eagles. Orlando, as dope as this game was, and trust me, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ass whooping. 41-21 over the Philadelphia Bird Boys. Look, as dope as it was, my head almost exploded at several points, like Clayton Bigsby on Chappelle's show, or the old boy in the crowd, Clayton Bigsby.
I'm sorry.
I want to start.
I'm trying.
I want to. There's 3 things I'm upset about in regards to this game. In regards to this, actually, 2 things I'm upset about. And one thing that I think we really got to work on.
Needs some work.
Okay. Number 1, I'm gonna start with my head coach. Why doesn't he? And this is something that Green Bay fans are gonna be like, oh, you see, he
told you so.
Told you so. And Lando, I have a running thread of the things on a list with my friends called "That Train's Never Late," and it's regard to sports. And there are certain things that are just, no matter what happens, this will always happen.
You know what to expect. Yeah,
you know what to expect. That train's never late. My homeboy, who is a Cowboys fan, just had his first kid last week. Shout out to my boy Danny. Salute. He's like, hey, I want to add to the list Mike McCarthy being confused looking at the clock. And as he adds Mike McCarthy, this is on Friday, by the way. As he adds that to the list, he sends a bunch of weird faces of McCarthy being totally confused looking at the clock. Why? Peyton Manning's freaking out on the Manning broadcast. Lando, he's not calling plays.
No.
So what's he doing?
He has one job. I mean,
what's he doing?
You should have clock management down pat, especially when you've got 2 coordinators like Kellen Moore and like Dan Quinn, right? He's got a call sheet, right? That's what he's looking confused holding, I guess, to your boy's point, but he's not tasked with calling plays. And this just, I guess it's something like it's inexcusable. It continues to happen. And another thing too, to kind of build off that, when the whole Dak thing is unfolding on the quarterback sneak into the end zone, which I'm still upset about, and I'm probably not going to stop talking about.
That's number 2. That's the number 2 thing I'm mad about. By the way,
well, I'll hold tight there. But Mike McCarthy's not even in the official's ear. Like, I want to see him get animated and make his case, plead his case, have his quarterbacks back. Get out there, show some emotion, and you don't really get that from him. So I can't fault him. For other areas, like keeping Kellen Moore around, that's obviously a great thing. So it's not all bad, but the bad always seems to get highlighted. And like you said, you just went back and played me that clip that I actually missed. I wasn't even aware of this situation because I had got distracted talking trash to one of my Eagles friends right as halftime was, I thought, coming to close. The first half was coming to an end.
Mike McCarthy thought that as well.
And yeah, I guess Mike was, he was ready to, like Peyton said, you just content with a 20-7 lead, coach? Like your stuff don't stink. I mean, are we that good already? It was a great win, great performance. But that clip is alarming to me. And I told you, make sure that gets posted and shared and talked about, because it definitely needs to be addressed.
Here's why it's alarming. Look, the football team we played today, they're a young team, young coaches, they're young all over the place, and they're in transition right now. So, yeah, it didn't come back to bite you. But when you lose a game earlier this year, like a Tampa Bay, where we have opportunities to win, the margin is so thin in these games,
paper thin.
So we have to nitpick these things. These are things. This is the difference between back in the day going 8-8 and 10-6.
Yeah.
And nowadays, whether you're in that
Texas last year, 13 points was the difference between 7-3 and 10-0.
And it's the little things.
It's small stuff.
It's the little
Yeah.
things. Just like players get evaluated for their in-game performance, I evaluate coaches. How you're managing the clock. Are you getting people rest? What are your rotations like? How are you working the officials? What adjustments are you making in game?
Mhm.
All of these things are evaluated. And part of that in-game standpoint is overall management. We lauded Dak about how well he was managing the offense and just in command. Well, you have to be the same way as a coach.
Right.
In any, especially 2 minute down, being on it, man.
Mhm.
And and it seemed like he fundamentally made a decision, and I fundamentally disagree with the decision he made. And I think
100%.
that's something that could be costly down the road. You have a veteran quarterback. You have an offense that team hasn't really slowed down unless the offense tripped up in its own way.
You're averaging damn near
Um,
7 yards a carry. You could even get into field goal range running the football twice, the way this game was
absolutely,
playing out, you know what I mean?
absolutely. So that's number one thing I'm not happy with. Number two, you brought it up, the Dak Prescott quarterback sneak on 4th and 1. And look, the third thing that I think needs improvement is overall red zone offense, red zone efficiency.
Yep. I was gonna ask
I'm
you that earlier too.
Yeah, that's problematic for me through 3 games.
It is.
But that particular play, the quarterback scored the touchdown. I'm sorry, crossed the goal line. It's clear as
Twice.
day. Didn't see a whistle blown. We've got 15,000 different angles. We have all this technology. It's 2021. We have the screen
What
grabs
are
of
we
him
doing?
well over the goal line, and we blew it. That was a blown call. Again, paper thin margins
Yeah.
typically in the league. That can't get missed.
Right.
That can't get missed in a divisional game. It got missed. And all these people trying to give me all these bullshit explanations about,
Yeah.
oh, I mean, Dak shouldn't have the ball so low to his waist and all this type of
Oh
stuff.
my God.
He's moving forward.
He
He's
stood up
clearly in the end zone.
on
He
his 2
stands
feet
up.
and does this again before the whistle was blown, Steven.
Right.
Like, people don't we all heard the whistles. There was a whistle blown. It was after Dak initially lunged and crossed
And
the
then
goal
they
line.
knocked the ball. Yeah.
And then he stood up and reached across the goal line again for the second time. And then they slapped the ball out of his hands. A couple Eagles grab the football and start charging the opposite direction. That's when the whistle blew. So in my head, I'm saying they're showing the replay live, and I'm sitting here yelling at my wife, not yelling at her, yelling to her, with her at the TV. Why are they stopping the review when Dak is, bent over with the football at his
Right. The
waist?
play wasn't
The
dead
play
there.
was not blown dead.
And in the second lunge, by the way, everybody does that. That's
Yes.
that's a normal. That's a that like how like
It's a
what are we
common
talking
football
about?
play.
The college football. I've seen Tom Brady do it 50 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
It's
his
just
center or
absurd,
guard,
man.
whoever he's trying to run over, they get stood up, doesn't panic. It's like, okay, boom. You may get knocked back. We see it with running backs, and you extend the football, try to
Right.
break the.
Second effort.
It's fourth down anyway,
Second
too.
effort.
So
Yeah.
if you're ever going to extend the football in a situation, it's fourth down, and he did that as he's moving. To me, his progress clearly was not stopped. He
Yeah.
regathered, moved the ball forward, and it's just the officiating in the 49ers Packers game was problematic for me.
Yeah.
And I know Tracy Williams is going to slide into the comments and say some, cat for his refs. So I see you out there working for the league, Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
But
No doubt.
that was problematic for me. In terms of the actual thing where we can just have a conversation, in terms of addressing this critically, red zone offense, and
There we go. Yeah.
my only critique my only one where I'm like, damn it, Kellen, the old Kellen snuck in there. And I know he came from Boise State and Chris Peterson, all the stuff they used to do.
I know exactly what you're going to say too without even saying it.
The end arounds.
Yep.
The end arounds. And I'm not anti-end around. I'm not anti-reverse or any of those type of things.
In that area, though.
In that area of the field, that should be off limits.
Yeah.
I've said this last year on another time where they ran an end around. You're wasting a down.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Now, if you want to go jet sweep, That's different
It's a
because
little
I've
bit
seen
different.
that
It's closer to the line of scrimmage.
closer to the line of scrimmage,
Yeah,
quicker developing play.
exactly.
It's just not. It's that area of the field. I don't know what the numbers are. Maybe some analytics people going to slide in here and say, "Oh, you will."
To
I
me,
don't like the play.
it's just like you said. You're intentionally going back 5 yards to try to gain 2 or 3. You know what I mean? So it just seems counterintuitive. I think that's what you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
illustrate there. But
Yeah, they
it's
have to get there. They're going to have to work on the touchdowns because they is much dap as we gave to the kicker last week. I don't
Mr.
trust the kicker like
Mr.
that.
PAT, man. He's got to get into a rhythm the same way everybody else does. You know, when we talk, we can't complain about Dak missing reps in training camp because he's injured, and not talk the same thing about our kicker who had back
That's fair.
surgery late. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
And I don't even mean to direct that at you. I'm just saying like that has to be. You have to think about that. Like as a fan, you're sitting on your couch. You're like, we gotta. We have a tendency to dehumanize these players, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they rhythm is so key. It's so important, and you know, coming off of back surgery because he had it so late because the team docs, you know, maybe we should start there and talk about why do the team doctors let him wait long enough to where if he actually did have the surgery, then he wouldn't be ready in time. If you want to play the waiting game and see if it heals on its own, you know, maybe have a time frame of okay, this is the absolute latest we can wait before you actually have to have the surgery and be ready for training camp. Don't give me these excuses about my kicker wasn't ready. Why wasn't he ready? Get him. It's your job to get him ready. So I get the relationship there too, coming over from the Rams with John
John
Fossil.
Fossil.
So you know, it is what it is, and like you said, we are being critical because you know if you want to get to where this team and where this fan base ultimately wants to go, you know that's just part of it, and that's part of
No,
the
we
fun.
got to nitpick. We got
Yeah,
to nitpick, and because they will in film, right?
exactly.
When they grade, Tyler Biotish, Dak Prescott, you guys are going to get knocked very negatively for giving up a touchdown, right? Hey, center can't get walked back. I don't care how well Hargrave's playing. Hey, quarterback, you cannot hold on to the football in your own end zone. You're a veteran. I expect better.
Yep.
Can't make that mistake. Got to get rid of the football. He did it the second time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third time we rolled him out where the coaches made the adjustment. The coaches are like, oh, guy keeps getting walked back. Maybe we shouldn't just do straight drop backs.
Roll him out a little bit. Yeah, I wanted to give you credit on that too because you called that out almost instantly because I asked you that question. I referenced Biotish getting walked back, and you said, "Yeah, you know they're making an adjustment on the fly there." So again, maybe credit to Kellen Moore. Maybe Mike McCarthy had a hand in that. I'm not sure, but Hargrave was winning. In pass pro, it was like Hargrave and Cox didn't exist, or were they were blowing everything up. But on the ground game, it's like those two guys were invisible. It was just it was pretty impressive, honestly.
And the thing here too, and this is just how I'm looking at the game from my vantage point. A lot of people may say, "Well, why, Steve? Why wasn't this an issue, Lando? Why wasn't this an issue between the 20s? I didn't see all this interior pressure at the quarterback." Well, you're running your whole offense, pacing. The defense is a little bit more on edge between run pass, a lot more formations. When you are backed up into your own area, the Eagles are now thinking, hey, we got to stop the run on first down. We're anticipating them trying to get some sort of yards. If we get them into second and pass, we pin our ears back. Now, and they made the adjustment, putting Hargrave nose up on the center, right? So now we know the whole Tyler Biotish thing getting walked backwards, as frustrating as it is, it's not a secret. Connor Williams had a terrible game today, but that's a reason why they were trying to work Connor Williams at center. There's a reason why they were trying to work Connor McGovern at center, because it's also they know what his weakness is.
Right.
They're well aware of it. Unfortunately, we got a little lazy with it in early in the game, and it resulted in a turnover. We got lazy with it again, and it resulted in a near turnover. But then Dak he got rid of it
He got
really
lucky.
quick. He did. He got lucky until they were like, "Hey, we got to move the pocket." Right. But that should have already been, that's another nitpick, but that's something where it cost us points. That needs to be corrected. No, KYP, know your personnel.
Yep, 100%.
Eagles fans, what happened to your game plan today? And then the NFC East. I think just to wrap this conversation out, because we'll deep dive more as
Okay,
we both will
I'm
watch the
so
game.
ready for you to start that segue. We got to talk about
Yes.
that. Let's go.
This division.
I got it pulled up literally right here because I can't wait to get this out.
This division, man. I mean, and you know what's funny? Before I even get to the division, people telling me, "Oh, everybody would like to just reduce the Chargers win." But yesterday the Chargers beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, what happened? What happened?
And now they the hot team in the league. Now everybody telling me, "Oh, Justin Herbert like that." I said, I've been, keep in mind, I was the guy coming into the draft, and this is on this channel on tape. I was the guy that said, "Hey, Justin Herbert is everything y'all think Trevor Lawrence is going to be." But that's a different conversation.
You did say that.
I said that. And now everybody's like, "Oh, Justin Herbert, that guy. Justin Herbert, that guy." But then when we beat them, it's like, well, the Chargers didn't make the playoffs last year. It's funny how the goalposts get moved. Anyway, getting back to the NFC East, the Cowboys can really, really set themselves up to where they take away the anxiety. If they get this division wrapped up early, they can take away the anxiety and do what the New England Patriots used to do in the AFC East and really just hone in on everybody else that you're facing in the playoffs.
Right.
That's how I can potentially envision this. We have a ways to go. We got to prove it. But through 3 weeks, in my opinion, the way the Cowboys have played, because if y'all want to tell me that the Chargers are all the way like that, which I agree with you, then we need to be in the conversation right there with them based on how we played Tampa Bay.
Right now.
So through 3 weeks,
we've been tested already.
We've been tested.
Yeah, the most tested of anybody in the division, which is exactly what I want to get to. First, wanted to say one more thing too about the defense. This was a makeshift defense by all accounts tonight. Just going based off of all the key guys that we're missing. People are still forgetting. We've got 3rd-round pick Neville Gallimore waiting in the ranks. Sprained his elbow or hyperextended his elbow in week 2 of the preseason. That's to me your best interior defensive tackle. And maybe Osa takes, Osa, we've already seen.
Like, I got something to say about that.
Yeah, he's like, all right,
I want to see them together. That'd be cool.
That's what does the team look like when you get those 3 other starters back? Like, we got Malik Hooker now, who is, I think is a really, really important piece with massive upside. If he can continue to trust the Achilles, coming back from that injury last year and start to get his wits. He had that big 3rd down stop tonight that at the time was, it was still, the game was well within reach.
The game was still,
it was 20-7, I think. But so the defense at full strength, still no Tank, still no Donovan Wilson. Those are 2 starters right there.
And Tank's your leader.
That's exactly
of your defense.
Yeah. But looking ahead, you brought up the NFC East, and so I had this pulled up before we hopped on here. The next few games for the Washington football team, who's right now sits at 1-2, right? They've got the Falcons coming up, who just beat the Giants. So
that's a must win for Washington.
That's a game they can win. But then if you look ahead to that, they go Saints, Chiefs, Packers, and then the Broncos, who are undefeated right now.
Right.
And then
Atlanta's a must win. They have to win
Super Bowl champs. So you've got must-win game with the Falcons, right? And then you've got last year's division winner, NFC South, last year's division winner, AFC West, and the Chiefs, who were in the Super Bowl. Last year's NFC North division winner, Green Bay Packers, who a lot of people are going to contend for the Super Bowl again. And then you've got the Broncos at Mile High Stadium, which is one of the better home field advantages in football, and then you play the defending Super Bowl champs, and that's just one.
You'll have a disadvantage at quarterback with Taylor Heineken
every single one of those games. And then just real quickly, you go over here and look at the Giants' schedule, and it's more of the same. They got the Saints at the Superdome, and then it's us, the Rams, who I think are going to be in the NFC Championship game this year. They just proved that last night. And then the Panthers, which is a toss-up, but then they got Chiefs and Raiders, who look like world beaters right now. And then the Eagles, same thing, man. They got the Chiefs this week. They got the Chiefs, the Bucks, and the Raiders in 3 of the next 4 games for them.
Yeah,
so
and
it
they
doesn't
have
get
the
easier for
Chiefs
anybody
coming
except for
off
us.
back-to-back losses.
Yeah.
The Eagles do. This is a tough spot for all those teams you just mentioned.
I
And this
say all
Carolina
that.
game, I will say this for Dallas. This Carolina game, Carolina's undefeated. We know how well they've played. They lost C-Mac. They lost J.C. Horn. That's a must-win for Dallas, in my opinion, to keep the momentum going.
They should win that game.
They should win. I'm not going to say I don't think it's as must-win as Atlanta, but I do think to not even have the anxiety and to just run away with it, you win those type of games, especially when somebody else is playing the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And the Giants just lost to Atlanta this week.
Right. Exactly.
Right? A very bad Atlanta football team.
And it just seems like that organization, they can't get out of that rut right now. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if Joe Judge is the first head coach fired at some point this
Joe
year.
Brown. It's either him or Nagy.
Yeah, Matt Nagy should actually probably go along there with them.
Unless Urban Meyer quits.
Or Jeff Kavanaugh stays roasting Urban Meyer on 105.3. It's funny. I laugh at that.
Hey, shout out to Jeff. Hey,
yeah,
man, that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Hey, but right now we're gonna celebrate our dub tonight.
Absolutely, man.
Y'all check out
Loud and Proud as always.
This is a great weekend. Like I said, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Lando Show on YouTube, on Instagram. He's all over all socials.
I'm just
TikTok.
I'm enjoying the extra free time, man. I really am having fun with it, and I appreciate any and all support. So this is what we do, man. It's my I say baseball is my first love, but this right here is my number one passion. So that's my me time.
Let's get it. Hey, well, thank you for coming on. We're gonna chop it up some more because there's a lot to discuss this week. But before I sign off here, guys, thank you to our sponsors, BUSR, the official sportsbook, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective, BUSR.com/Fanatic. Joe Silva, we still got your name up there. Our $250 cash bonus winner. We'll see what contests we have coming up. We still have the NFL 100 FP free play, 100% matching deposits. It's really dope. We have some contests on NFL special contests right now for the Tampa Bay New England game, the Brady Belichick Bowl, where there are some cool prop bets on there. So go check that out on BUSR.com/Fanatic. We appreciate y'all so very much. Guys, how about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate it.